Yeah, we're gonna go ahead.
Okay, there's been a few discussions about the number of days maybe not being completely accurate. So each table is gonna be responsible for counting the number of days on a specific calendar so that we can ensure before we start voting on which calendars are our top calendars, that all of them have the appropriate amount of school days, which is 188, 187. For teachers, 180 for kids.
Yep.
Right.
180 for kids. Okay, so you guys will take calendar A. You guys will take calendar B. C. You two will be calendar D. Calendar E.
D.
Did I give y'all a calendar?
Yeah.
F. And then G.
There's one more H.
And then Dr. White and I can do H.
Exquisite.
You by yourself?
And I just hand me that calendar D county.
I'm gonna sit with you.
Yeah.
I was like, you by yourself, I'm gonna sit with her. Yeah.
180 for students, 187 for
I'll be
teachers.
right there.
Wait, so sorry.
I have them.
Okay, perfect, we don't need them right here.
Do you really?
Do you need a copy?
No, yeah, I'm gonna give you after this.
Okay, I'll sign.
Oh, that's not. I got some more.
There's this one back there.
Here, these.
I have some over there.
Do you need sticky notes?
Good thing I brought my glasses.
I have extra, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give them some.
Here's one.
Oh.
And then we'll start with A, has an A session, and then a week on, and then an A session. Is that what it looks like?
What's the yellow mean?
The yellow is the grading period.
Grading period.
Just checking.
Yeah, I think yours is not mine. No, this one isn't yours. Yours was like 3 weeks in between.
Did anybody else need a set?
Yeah, I got you.
Do you have Post-it notes?
I grabbed these.
It's harder than you said for students and
17th would be a day.
We're counting first, right?
Yeah,
I've done the
count.
first check.
Teachers,
That only took
187.
you 5.
Students, 180.
9.
A third set of eyes on that. That's an intercession, and then we come back to it.
That's why we're saying, like, we really need to look at these.
Right.
Yeah, that just means when we vote on the top 3, it doesn't go in your top 3.
So any session with that, do you choose to?
But you're only counting your calendar A to make sure it has the right amount.
Oh, yeah, but still.
She's like, but why count?
This is why So that's the only spot.
Yeah.
Okay. No, same as mine. That's what I'm saying. Those are the 3 I looked at. I just see these right here. Like, yep, take out the calculator. Yeah. 48. On the 6-week, 8-week. Okay. For kids. I prefer to nominate. Okay. Credit, but I need to start dating them. If I can't help them until I was good, that's easier.
What's grading period? Okay, so it starts before and then after.
What'd you get for semester?
On a Monday, we have 2 weeks off.
For semester.
Are we ready with numbers? No? Okay. Read the room, Kenna, read the room. Kenna?
Tell me how to count this day right here. This is non-day, right?
No.
It's an off day.
It's an off day,
And
not
we-
for kids.
And, right, not for kids, so staff will be there.
No, no graduation.
Nobody.
That's what I thought, so nobody, and then we come back and have a staff day and.
But we'd also have grad night that day.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I'm counting the day right.
Yeah, I wouldn't count that. This is the last day for kids.
Okay. That makes that I know, well, it's kind of hard not to have it.
Yeah, that took me the longest to count because of all the different colors.
But can you imagine getting 9 grades in 23 days?
No,
Yes.
I mean, yes.
You mean 9 grades in 23 days?
That Honda Polo is
It's a year
obnoxiously good. I'm fixing to go grab that.
So I have a whole deal. Just gonna put it in your pocket, walk around with this one. First semester. Oh, haven't even started this yet. Cause it's not matching, like I get 96 instead of 97.
I get 97.
Maybe I typed in something.
I got
Check it out,
69 in November.
As a kid, I used to
Let
me check this.
Okay, I got November.
December, I
Mr.
had
Janishi.
13.
I really like your calendars.
Yeah, you did a great job, Mr. Janishi, you really did.
I think
I just wanted to let you know, I really like your
so too.
calendars. I think it's good,
I
yes.
was doing the kids one for you.
I was scared that I was not seeing the bigger picture, but I thought, I'll throw my hat in the ring.
No, I like it.
Probably added staff into it.
All of your days
Aren't mandatory.
and then whatever.
Hey, people are counting, ma'am.
Have a second report.
Kids.
You've lost control of the room.
Okay, I got the days. I mean, calendar 8's got the days.
Hey, thanks for letting us come in here. You're seeing over there.
Are we ready?
What are we counting?
5 minutes better than.
The days. So for what, it's because on mine.
Okay, calendar A, how many student dates did we have?
20.
Check. 52, 44, 42, 42. Does that check out? Who had calendar A?
We did.
Was this right?
Yes.
Okay. Did we have 187 teacher days?
Yes.
Okay. Calendar B. Who had calendar B?
We did, I'm still
Oh, you're still counting? Okay, well, y'all still count. We're gonna go to C. Who had C?
We had C.
Okay, did it factor up?
The third 9-week period, it says 49, but it's 44.
44. So we are short
Okay.
5.
This one's 20. Which is the February intercession. 20. Oh, yeah,
So we would need to add 5 to this calendar. So we'll keep that in mind when we talk about that. D, who had D? Are y'all done counting?
90, 90, and then 7, it comes out.
This one's right? Got it.
Skip F, we're still working.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, well, I just counted the early demographics. Oh, wait, we did F. We were
Oh,
F.
sorry, we're E.
Skip E. Okay. F?
Check.
F is good? Okay, and Dr. White, you did that one?
Yep,
It's
good
good.
to go on.
What about G?
Oh, did I skip G altogether? Did I assign G to anybody?
It's us.
Okay, is
But we
it?
just got together and we just started doing, so.
No pressure.
We can come
No
back,
pressure,
we
no
can come back
pressure.
to it.
No pressure.
We can come back to it. We're gonna come back to D and E. I mean, E and G.
Oh, wait.
Did we say B or A?
Okay, so the only calendar that doesn't match right now
So we're missing 2.
is C. Y'all are missing 2?
Oh, B is missing balance then.
2 student days?
41 and 43.
Okay. You know in what, 6 weeks?
No. It's just a total, we added the
You
total.
just totaled it, so it could go anywhere.
Yes, it could go anywhere. It's missing 2 student
But
days.
the teacher days are right?
Let's see.
They're still gonna be short too.
Yeah,
because
they're gonna be at 185
Yeah, they're testing days.
because if students are at 178, they're gonna be at 185. Okay.
I didn't get
Graduation is in March 7th.
Oh, no, I did my semester, okay.
So that's wrong. So for one of the PD when it counts as school. So
Isn't it funny? It seems like such a simple task, but it's really not. It's really let them finish counting. Okay, so what we're gonna do, the next part of what we're gonna do is you have a paper that looks like, can I borrow this, Miss Wiggins? You have a paper that looks like this. There's categories that we want you to be thinking about. Those categories are PD days, holidays, intercessions, beginning and ending dates, graduation, and grading periods. You're going to go through each calendar and find the things you like and the things you don't like from each calendar. Right now, I would not spend a ton of time on B or C because B needs to add in 2 more days and C needs to add in 5, so we can't definitively say where those days would go.
He just needs to add in one more day.
Just one?
Yeah, I think it's because I didn't highlight 31 on March. Yeah, I just didn't color that one in.
Okay.
But then I was 1 day off on the last 6 weeks.
If you
So
can
it's
look
just
and
one
see
day.
where you would want to add a date, we could
Okay.
use, like, really look at this one too. So you're gonna do pros and cons for each, considering those categories. What are the good things about where the intercessions are? What are the good things about where holidays are? We're gonna take 20 minutes to do this. And then after you've gone through each calendar, which I know just by listening, some of us are already leaning to certain calendars, so if you really wanna spend more time on those calendars, that's fine. Then the next thing we're gonna do is, each of you has 3 sticky notes. You're gonna give me your 1, 2, and 3 calendars. And then we will take the top 3 calendars and we'll discuss pros and cons and see if we can combine some of the things from the other calendars you liked to make those 3 calendars perfect options.
Does that make sense, everybody?
Okay? Okay, so for the next 20 minutes, list your pros and cons considering those categories. Oh, I had one somewhere. Here's one.
We'll come back at like 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Except that May 22nd is the 30th.
Yes.
May 28th.
I always see you in a cover second.
You know what? This one right here, the 22nd, is, or the rest are staff development.
If you want to work in partners on your pros and cons, you can. I'm an individual worker, so.
Yeah, it's a 188.
Right on.
The second semester, the
18
because I was
for
like,
January.
I got cookies for November.
1 week they come back, and then you're on something like that. Sometimes for them, feels like a waste of week.
I think it's just, Right, and then we have the 3 PD weeks, after 5 days that come in. It's a staff, so the teachers are working it. But wait.
No, six. I guess.
3 days of no
So does that one count as instructional?
Not yet, holidays in the second semester.
Yeah, so they said second semester.
And then one staff, so it's 15 students, and the teacher is gonna be December got 15. And then that's January 20. I thought it was 13.
Calendar E. Y'all check out 180. Y'all did
7 days just now.
No, that's the testing window. That's a holiday. I think that's President's Day. 18, and then two staff, or one staff and one holiday.
So Melanie, does that make sense?
So that's a holiday. So that would be 19.
During that intersection.
So 19. So I don't
Can I challenge your calendar D?
Our teachers.
It has one extra day, so you could look at, if there's a day that you don't like, there may be a day you could cut out of that one. What letter G? G.
No, G. As in goat.
The greatest.
6 weeks.
G has one extra day.
On B, you can just add like where in December.
Go with you. What I really do like about March.
Oh, go one more day.
Because they're the same, and I have thought about that before. They've had intersection with the regular.
And then you say, well, go to school October 19th and 20th will be a teacher day.
But then that's not how. We already did that already. You know what I mean? So they like that. They like the nice distribution.
If you're looking at B in your pros and cons list, all we would need to do is add the 19th as a student day and get that Friday as a teacher day. So add that one day before December.
We come back for 1 week and then they get the
No, the 10th.
So that would only allow us that work.
What do we want to say about?
So that was F. And then G, they liked it too.
But there's that random in here.
What's that G?
But not all of them, right? Or just ours.
Just ours.
Same thing.
Oh, wait, so the pros and cons?
Pros and cons.
No problem.
They said, but according to the start of the day, people like it still. So why are we doing it?
So you're saying it's 9 weeks.
People liked having 6 weeks.
Then we're
Community already had this.
Not just like, looking like that.
So we're gonna have to review, we're like, teachers that I kind of pulled. Why are we doing this?
Kenna,
Are
are we not doing C?
6 weeks.
Are we still doing C, pros and cons?
Yes, you can, but you're gonna have to find 5 days in there somewhere. It might be hard to find 5 days. Did y'all have your checked out?
Pros for both and F.
And E checked out, E's got 180.
Move that note.
Cross out C.
I think scratch it. Set D and Q.
Both of them are nice distribution of intercessions, but ultimately, they still.
February.
I don't, I have 1 week between intercession and testing.
It would be off this weekend, and then it would be on
You have about 12 more minutes.
1 week between intercession and testing.
But then when you're trying to keep.
Baffle faces.
that's where.
The colors are a little, it can be a little hard. Not to mention, trying to get everything on one sheet of paper.
Oh, they're like this right here. Because it's like a
It's a 9-week grading period, but 6 weeks still counts.
Come back in a week.
Alright, so the teachers are. I put that stuff in there. So now. I is.
Exactly. That's what would happen.
I would like to start a show later. You guys make a book calendar and have spring break.
Okay, so
Bottom line is,
Do you want one of these papers?
well, there's a recession right on here, yeah. It's just,
You're not turning it in, it's just for your feedback.
that's not the way.
So nobody moved out, so we should I like see if we could just like.
Oh, I'm looking at D, I'm sorry. Yes, C has it right there.
On 9 weeks.
17th.
But you only have to worry about 6 weeks in the first 6
And then they what, they have to renew.
and then after that, it's 9 weeks.
No, for F. I get that. They take the last day off. And football,
No, I sent Rosie the email. I got the email and I went, no, this is not going. And I sent it to Rosie. That's, yeah, everybody called me and said, what did you do? And I'm like, I did nothing but send it to Rosie.
Sorry that you're up. It's like March
Yeah.
31st up now with that. Because that seems like that is making its way.
Yeah, no, I got it and I was like, no, Rosie.
Then you wouldn't have that like arbitrary check at the 6 week. Because like professors are, yeah, you're feeling it now, but you're gonna have this midterm, this
On these calendars.
it's a 6 week that the kids.
It's yes here, but it's F.
I looked at all of them.
I
have 9 weeks, so I don't need that stuff in.
Oh, the spring's would be better.
9-week calendar.
Yeah, but that's,
9-week grading cycle.
Okay.
Grading cycle. Well, we didn't do a good job. So A is a 9-week stuff. It costs a couple kids that too. Kids gotta sign up for stuff they didn't know.
I'm one of the
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's senior.
parents, like, I don't work for the school district, right? So I stand up there, but then I call back and I was
like the first 6 weeks, you're gonna have to be
9-week grading cycle, basically.
I don't know how many personalities that I found.
Correct. How 6.
That's all they have to do, those guys.
It's there, yeah, no, there will be, there'll be a progress report at 3 and 6. And the first 6 weeks of progress report, you'll have a grade like a 6 weeks report. I would have to verify their 6 weeks.
Probably have to work if you shift
Parents would get notified at 3, 6, and
on the
grade
10th, we have to start our grading cycle.
Right, but that first 6 weeks is gonna be a report.
And the last one was 8.
Better than a Wednesday, which is better than a Tuesday.
We like did the program if we shifted the program to the 11th and then shifted
7.
start date to the 18th.
Yeah. Oh, 'cause it's a 9 week.
I hated
Was their break is smaller than the Christmas break?
Day of grace period, maybe 67.
But they didn't count the two sessions. It's a 9.
I can't
And then we like that. I mean, this is our.
It's like a hybrid of both.
It doesn't matter if you do it in
Were you allowed
And then we start, and
counselors have to do like 9 a.m. They're just teaching.
Yeah.
weather out there, snow and
We
rain.
have about 5 more minutes. If we don't rush you, you'll be here till midnight.
We're ready, let's go.
I understand what we're doing.
Oh, do you need more time? So teachers could come 11 to 12, but school would start on the 18th. Yes, we do want to.
Other than it makes me
Well, it's not like their drinks are gonna change if they have.
She ignores him.
Oh, that didn't look like a T. It was a T and a line through the top, but it accidentally connected. If you're looking at G, we're just gonna move back 1 day. We're gonna give back 1 teacher day. So student start date would be on the 18th instead of the 17th. On G. It's easy when there's an extra day. It's not as easy when there's shorter day. On G.
But what about, where's your extra staff day? Because she's where'd the staff day go then?
Nothing's happening on the 10th and everything's just moving.
We all know resolution.
Yeah, so the 10th is not a staff day.
The F does.
Yeah, on G, we start on the 11th instead of the 10th. So the kids start back in June, and the kids start on the 18th. Again? And G had 1 extra day.
As much to me.
C has 3 weeks between February and March intercession.
Yeah, and that's why I mean, she she's but I will say, even like
Right. But I'm saying we have the same discrepancies that we kind of have now where
The test case repetition.
the secondary schools have way more back minutes.
That's what turned
I didn't use it as my husband and I didn't, it's our fault. And then I'm gonna pick that's the other one. They're gonna it's actually my son did every school, 7th and 8th. And what they expect.
You can taste ridiculous. Because you're gonna get one of those. I said, at least you should do all your social studies. At least.
2/3 teachers though.
And now they do quick checks.
That's just my.
Participation.
No break after that.
Coat in your tongue and throat.
Do we need to have more time or are we good?
I think we're good.
We've got about 1 more minute before we're gonna start voting on your top three. If you're ready to vote on your top three, go for it. If you need sticky notes, yes. 1, 2, and 3.
What if I'm biased?
It's okay if you're biased.
It's okay to be biased.
It's okay if you're biased.
How about
Pick our top three.
But no, it's not anymore. B is not missing a day. They just go one more day after Christmas. Toward Christmas.
This one's taking that day off.
I like that. E and F are the ones that are G and H.
Okay, so then when we discuss it as a top 10 or top 3, then you say this one would be perfect if it had this. Well then, but then Hannah's just saying what she doesn't like. Then hush it.
we have to go for this one is?
We're coming up with a top 3, Mahogany.
I don't know why you're gonna be so aggressive, Kenna. You are around people right now, okay?
I'm sorry.
I didn't wear my kind shirt today.
Is this what
McKinley?
McKinley goes home to?
No, McKinley goes home to a tired mom that just leaves her alone and lets her do whatever she wants. Obviously, she's a freshman.
It is.
How is she or how old is she? She's 14.
Dr. White.
How is she?
Kenna's daughter. Yeah, she's just like me. She's a lot like me.
Kenna's daughter.
Okay, what was G and H?
Like our table decided that we just decided on 1 and 2. We're boycotting 3 as a group.
As you start adding them, the calendar actually looks more like that calendar, so it's like.
And I actually did this wrong because 1 should be weighted as 3, 2 should be weighted as 2, and 3 should be weighted as 1 point. So that you have like, you know what I'm saying? So all 1 should be worth 3 points.
Graduation day is off. I see what you're doing.
But then it starts kind of getting the calendar a little wonky, and it starts repeating a little bit on some of the others, so that's kind of the reason why I was like, that was just kind of, some of the committee members.
Guys, if you'll go ahead and start voting, we're gonna vote till 5:05 so that we have a good 20 to 25 minutes to discuss. Everybody votes on their own, and then somebody's gonna do the math. Because I'm not
There's
good.
only so many ways we can
I'm not
slice and dice this thing up.
I'm gonna go put my number 3 on there.
Why?
It would be better if.
There you go. I said vote till 5:05. I'm just the Vanna to Dr. White.
So Dr. White is Pat Sajak?
He's such a nice guy.
He is.
He's the guy that like doesn't age, but it would just start going.
Oh, I know.
Neither does Vanna. Have you seen
They
her?
both look the same, and I was like a toddler.
Yeah.
He still looked the same.
It was a good thing.
And it's also equally amazing.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
You got to a certain point.
I know, I feel like we're
Okay, guys, we need 1 more minute to get your sticky notes up.
Sorry.
We need your vote. So somebody else can math it.
Look at it, it's a perspective.
So somebody else can math
Get a stack of sticky notes.
I'm not a mather.
Can we just create a verb out of math?
Yes, I'm not a mather.
Yeah.
So it's two.
Huh?
So with the.
Yeah, so 1s will count as 3 points, 2s will count as 2 points, and 3s will count as 1 point.
Or you just add them up and the lowest number wins.
They are, technically they are field trips, which is why we're able to get good,
All like the same, right?
I knew I'd seen something like everybody.
I'm not a good mather either.
I'm a terrible mather.
The less math I have to do, the happier.
I'm pretty good at 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16, 18, so I'm pretty good at that, but.
Not everybody.
No, not everybody, just those that are participating, we can have.
And don't forget with your vote, we're still gonna discuss concessions.
In this moment.
So we like this one, but it would be better with this. Oh, that one's tough. That one's tough.
So I liked it.
That was my goal.
I know.
I liked it. Their third calendar.
There's a stretch in that one for sure. But instructionally, you have more uninterrupted instructional time with that. Gearing up to STAR testing. But for teachers who have no stamina.
Our teachers who have STAR, don't have STAR, and we have to contain our kids. Or again, just, the kids don't understand either.
1 is your favorite, 2 is your second favorite, 3 is your least favorite. But still a good one.
Did we fix this one in terms of days?
Yes, that one is fixed.
That one is fixed in terms of.
Yes, we'll go, the teachers will get out on that Friday, they'll have that Friday, and students will get out on Thursday. It just moves a day.
Okay. Okay, that was the only.
You would have to, if there's something on Easter. I gotta get that one in.
Just throw a wrench in the plan and get one seat. If you're not sure. Did everybody get a chance to vote?
Come on, Mr. Ruiz, you're holding up the process.
Slow down. I just messed up my own stuff.
Kelly, yeah, Kelly and Natalie all okay.
But nobody goes and checks it with them, it's not our field. Yeah, the way it's being presented is not.
Yeah.
The reason why it is correct is because we also have an MOU that reinforces the ability to get the ADA.
I'm not
We
mathing
even
this.
take it a step further and go.
I will van it, I will not math it.
I'm gonna take my kids out. Because we
Yeah,
don't
lunch break can't be lowest. I knew there was a reason.
Yeah,
Good job, Mather.
that is true.
we don't go check out with them like, hey, we're leaving.
Okay,
And also because if we're not.
if there's somebody that's good at adding,
Do we have a math teacher here?
Audius is good at mather.
How do you wanna add it? Because
Okay, here's how we're doing it.
We haven't tried that.
3s are worth 1 point,
So that's why there's the.
2s are worth 2 points, and 1s are worth 3 points.
Why don't you just do 1, 2, 3 and then just the lowest?
Because there's some calendars that don't have any votes.
Oh, yeah, zeros would win.
So you can't, yeah, the zeros would win, the lower ones would win. So,
We went through that just like 5 seconds ago, we're like, wait.
so if anybody wants to help with that process,
I'll just calculate your own.
5. So B is 5.
or we could go back to the group assignment. So you guys were what calendar?
A is 8.
A,
That's good.
yeah, the calendar that you added to begin with. A is 3, 6, 7, 8.
Do we only have up to 8?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 or 5. That's 5.
1,
6, 7.
6, 7.
Oh, you're right, it's 7.
0. Okay.
Follow
17 right here.
on 17.
17.
That one was hard.
And the values are reversed, right?
Yes, so this is 1 point, these are 3 points.
17.
Did everybody get a chance to vote?
6 times 3 is 18.
Stop trying to use PEMDAS over here, ma'am.
Parentheses around there.
Did anybody add F?
Yeah, we're working on F.
Okay,
Oh,
43.
Yeah, I got 43.
43?
17.
Yeah, I got 17 too.
That one threw me off. Like,
and then we'll just double check.
I already counted.
Double check.
Okay, so it looks like we're gonna be discussing D, E, and F in more depth. So take the things from C, B, A, H, and G that you liked, and we'll look at compromises that we can make on these three before we send them out. Okay, so D, E, and F. So we're gonna start with D.
There's no intercession
So what we like and what we don't like, or just what we like?
We're gonna talk about both, but I wanna make sure that we're staying focused on D for right now. At the bottom of your page, there was an opportunity to say, my top is D, I like this about it. But we're also going to talk about the things that, if it had something from H or A, that we could maybe consider changing. Okay? So, for D, what are the pros?
Halloween is off as the primary.
Oh, no, I agree with that.
Yes, no, that's a good point, yep. We said the
Okay.
same thing at middle school.
Is there anything any dates that we could change that would make this the perfect calendar? Yes.
We thought the February intercession was the only break we have until the end of the year.
Yes.
And so if we push that back into another month, it'd be a great calendar.
Yes.
Agreed.
Not
At least into March.
Not enough holidays here. Yep, one second.
But let's be specific. What week would you want to push it to?
I would say probably either, I liked on the one calendar, it had it the week of the 24th of March, because it's still a couple weeks before testing. Yeah, and it's my birthday. No.
Is that
But
the,
it's a couple weeks before testing, so they're still able to prepare, but they have that little brain break.
what about if
It'll
it
be
was?
3 weeks. We come back for 3 weeks after February then, and
Yeah.
then we'll have that intercession.
What about if it was the week before spring
Yeah.
break? Because that week that you're talking about is actually midterm exam week.
But then we would only come back for 2 weeks.
If it was the first week of March?
You mean the
You said
10th, the 14th, the second full week of March or the first full week of March?
March 3rd. If you push it back to March
If
3rd.
you pushed it down, you mean?
Yeah.
If you push it down to the 17th through the 21st, you have an equal number from January as you do to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do that first week in March, that's the beginning of the grading cycle.
Yeah, you don't want
So
that.
March 17th through 21,
Yeah.
that would make this a perfect calendar? Or a decent calendar? Okay?
Decent.
Okay, what
Ten
other changes would we wanna make to this one?
10 weeks.
That's coming back from Christmas and going 10 straight weeks.
Both of them.
That's a very long
One day
stretch.
off.
Yep.
The 20th.
So if
They're still talking about the 10 weeks.
we do that.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's
that's a
10
little bit
straight
longer.
weeks.
That's
That's
a
10 straight
longer
weeks and 10
winter
straight
break
weeks.
than most of
Right.
them.
Not really.
That one has about 2.5 weeks.
Do we see a longer winter break as a con or a pro?
A longer winter break
I
is
like a pro.
Like food insecurity for our kiddos.
Con.
I think it depends on what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
A con for students on not
A
just
pro
their
for
grades,
teachers.
but also for the students that don't have food at home.
Right.
We don't provide food over that time.
And there's no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the retention that, like, all the information that the students are gonna lose if we have a long winter
So
break.
I would consider it a con.
So we'll put it in a maybe column. Could go either way, is longer.
What is it benefit to have?
Okay? What's another pro? Why do we like this one over some of the other ones?
What is that last week of the
Because we just don't like it.
26th through the 30th? What is that?
Yeah, it's,
Hey, where's graduation on this?
It's just the holiday stuff.
After school
It's the blue.
No, it's just to make sure that you know that it's like,
There's no
there's no school.
There's no school.
Yeah.
It's not a holiday for us, though.
Yeah, school ends on the
School ends on the 22nd.
22nd. Teachers have to come back for a staff day, to clean out or to have our end of year stuff, so that's why there's a staff day at the very end.
Okay, so what's a con? What's another con to this one?
Wait, what? What was the con?
That wasn't a con, she was explaining what the peak was.
That last week shaded in.
Versus some of these others, is they have a very short grading period. Like this one has a 3-week grading period in it. This one has a 4-week grading period, and that's a hard turnaround for teachers.
So these are pretty even grading periods, that's a
Yeah, well, it's more so anyway, yeah, I guess.
pretty.
It's also a later start date.
Oh, yeah, that was, I had a con.
I'd say grading period, I didn't mean that, I meant with intersections, I apologize. Not grading periods, because I wasn't looking at the yellow.
You're messing up my poster.
Don't worry about her,
Well, like
she's
there's 3 weeks in
feisty
between
right now.
intersections on this, there's 4 weeks in between intersections on that one.
Evenly spaced
There we go,
intersections.
that's what I was-
There's only 3 intersections on this one.
Yeah, there's only.
So, I
We
mean,
say that's a con.
yeah, because it's like they put the other intercession at the beginning of the year with that late start.
That's why it's starting late.
But we like the late start date.
Saying we already blew our intersection before we even began the year.
So there's no break yet.
Okay? So this one could get better if we added an intercession and started a week early. Then we would have calendar over there.
And change that February intercession.
Yeah,
To the
we've got
March
February intercession there.
Okay.
That intercessions are too close
And
together.
remember, we put on ours to move it.
Yeah, we didn't, we didn't.
Okay, so do we wanna consider a change of pushing this up?
No, everybody else should be.
Push this up and add an intersection somewhere? Where would we add the intersection?
So if we make that change,
If you make that change though, the semesters are all wonky
if you
again.
make that change, it's gonna look like an E.
Okay, so then let's go to E. Let's talk about,
Let's abandon D.
is there anything else we need to talk about with D?
Let us
front-loaded.
stew with that for just a minute.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Let it simmer.
let it marinate.
Yeah.
I'm not good at cooking, but I know the terms. Okay, we're gonna keep the same flow over there, it's a little messy, but
It's beautiful.
pros, cons, and possible changes. Okay, what are some of the pros to this one? I covered it up, sorry.
Halloween intercession.
And Valentine's.
And
Valentine's Day. I not miss that one.
And Valentine intercession. Okay? I would concur as a former middle school principal.
Nice distribution of intercessions.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Even distribution of intercession.
The July 18th start date.
Late start date.
More days in fall semester than in spring.
That's a pro or a con?
Pro for me, because I'm exhausted by it.
What's to me,
It seems like we get more breaks in the fall because we've got Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of that. It's broken up a lot more anyway, so.
Do you know what the days are for the fall?
A con would be the fifth 6 weeks is very.
How many days?
In the fall and how many?
In the fall, it was 95 and in the fall and 85 in the spring.
Okay.
Is that the 9-week one?
E is the
No, this is 6 weeks.
Okay.
But they're almost exactly the same except.
They are.
Except for grading period.
ENF,
so
right.
the fifth 6 weeks is a con.
So, I mean, I'm not a teacher, but would the only 3 days for the teachers and the staff be enough at the very beginning?
Yes.
It's gonna have to.
Yes!
And we say that with so much like.
Sorry, it's with love. It's with love.
but not primary.
Yeah, primary, that's a rough one, because they have to set up their classrooms, and then we still have PD.
And we have PD.
Okay, so then our maybe group is PD days at beginning.
Okay. One thing that I would change is that January staff development on the 8th. I would move that to May 23rd. Oh, is it the 6th? I'm sorry.
Was it this?
It's the 6th?
Yes.
It does kind of look like an 8.
On 6th, move
To
to,
the last day, so the 23rd.
What's
Because
so special about the 23rd?
that's the day when, so like the last day of school is when the teachers check out. It's when teachers have like their end of year stuff, like their last day of the year
Oh, you mean moving
stuff.
from this down all the way to,
To that day,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Because otherwise
So we would go
teachers
to
end
school
on a
on
half day.
January 6th.
Because teachers don't stay, because they go to graduation.
And so then they wouldn't be staying.
Yeah.
Put that as a maybe, just.
Everyone would start on the 7th, can,
Not everybody has to do
It
that.
would be a professional development on the 6th, it would still be a holiday for everybody.
I like the short one.
From the 6th down to
So do a maybe.
Well, no, I would just make it a holiday,
Put that as a.
and that way it starts on the, you know what I mean?
If that's what y'all want. go
Make
for it.
the
Even though it's 20.
6th a holiday. That way it doesn't, you're not actually.
Can we agree to this? Move the January 6th to the end?
But would that mean we start on that date?
You would start on the
Kids?
7th.
Yes, you would start
Or
with the
kids
kid.
start?
You would start on the
Because I think it's
7th.
hard for teachers to come back
What if we put,
without a break.
wait, what if we took, February 17th PD day and put that
Yeah.
on May 23rd?
I think that would be better.
Scratch this.
So just, well, no, just the
No, I'm with
February.
you, I think that's probably better.
Yeah,
February
take the
17th.
February
White House.
17th and move to May 23rd.
She could have just scratched out January and wrote
I
February.
know, that's what I would have said, but I'm
You know
sorry.
what? Don't criticize until
There's
you're
no
up here with the
criticism,
pen,
no
ma'am.
criticism, you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Your writing's so pretty.
It is terrible, isn't it? It's really bad. That's okay. It keeps me
February.
And 17th
Yeah,
is a holiday.
So then the February 17th date would be off.
Yes.
A
would just be
con is that it doesn't hit the spring break like the parents wanted.
Or the high school.
I mean, it's just, it's an impossible.
Yeah, you're,
It is an impossible task.
can't give everybody everything, so it's either or on
Around
that
the same
one.
time and other districts have it that
Check
week.
the dates on,
It's just not
I'm seeing
CCIs.
only 23 for
Which one?
the fourth 6 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
On the 4th, 6 weeks?
That's not the 6 weeks, is it?
Well, they have the bracket for the 7.
Which calendar? E?
And then they
7 through
have
14.
it on
1,
last
7,
day
and
is
214.
214, but they have that as the intercession.
Oh, she's saying right here,
Are we short a day in this one?
this part 5 days as your bracket. But did you mean it to be?
9. But then there's 29, the 5th, 6th.
That's the one that has the short.
So then it would just
Oh,
be,
It is at 24, but
February, if February went down 1 week, like the intercession went down 1 week, then you would have the right numbers. That's all.
So do I write anything or no?
February intercession maybe moved down 1 week to get the numbers.
then how, but then that would give, it still wouldn't matter, because that would give us a 4-week
Grading period.
grading period, either one. I mean,
Well, there's 20, when I count the 5th 6 weeks, there's 29 days instead of 24. So,
Okay, so I just didn't change that at the end.
I think it,
Yeah. So
You
we
just have to
move February
just-
down, is that right?
But then that's the start of the
wait,
the grading period.
This is why I'm just the writer.
Is,
Do you need help?
so like, you look here, 225.
Okay, so if we add.
That's probably meant to be a 24. That would be right.
So that's the thing, I think that's throwing off some people is that,
Yeah.
that's probably part of the counting problem.
Really, the only difference is instead of 225, it would be 224 for the start of the 6 weeks.
I think that's why on D,
That's why people are having a hard time calculating. Oh, it'd be on E.
yeah, so, but on D, that's why I didn't have an intercession, because
Because you weren't able to
mathematically,
get the
oh, so
whole.
this is supposed to be 5th, this is supposed to
So you
be.
then it
took
would
away
be-
the session to give yourself more days for the grading period?
to even out the semesters, otherwise it's only 75 days in the spring,
I see.
and then it's like
This one's pretty
90,
even though.
105 or something. Yeah, that one's even.
It's pretty even.
Flip, it would be 28 and 24.
It's almost like
Yeah,
the 6
it's fine
weeks
though.
is
If you just go to the 24th instead of the 25th, it's fine.
Yeah.
Finish you.
Okay, good. On which one?
If we move the intercession or what, a grading period or an intercession?
Similar, except for the
24th instead of the 25th.
livestock show days.
Then you have the extra day.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 'cause then you don't have that one day right
Just
there.
take this down in here.
Would we shift the intercession and?
Shift the intercession and the PD, or just shift the grading period?
I would just shift the grading period.
The grading period,
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
not the intercession.
But I didn't study them like you guys have. I'm just the scribe.
Like, yeah, because like we talked about where the intercessions don't necessarily have to come at the end of the 6 weeks.
Not right.
No.
They really can be placed.
And it
anywhere.
actually may be even better if they're not, because if you want to, like, high school remediate sometimes with kids, or we have, you may have a mid-module assessment that you just finished in something that you wanna bring kids in 1 or 2 days out of that intercession, that you would have that that immediate intervention.
I don't know, some of our teachers like the break. We talked about that today. They like the clean break. I asked some of them to come in and kind of see and give me some feedback, and they were adamant, and Araceli was there, that they love the break. That's TM tradition. They said, look at the survey results. Thank you, Mr. Geneshu, for writing it on the side.
Yeah.
They said, what is the community saying? This committee is here to represent the community and everybody, so we've got to take a look at that. And I said, thanks for reminding me. And it was some of our top teachers. Am I right, Araceli?
If we shift the intercession, PD, and grading period, just all 1 week down. Is that a concern?
No, I think there was just don't change the intercession, just change the grading period.
But then they're not getting that 6 week then break and then back onto it. And I think that's what that was requested.
Because that's what that was the message you wanted us to take away, right? Was that they like the clean
They
break
like the clean
at the end
break.
of each grading period.
They
If
do.
you start,
Okay, okay.
if you start right here, you're just not gonna get it.
They said our kids are accustomed to that already, and we know that as teachers, we feel it already, like we're already feeling the squirrely behavior, right? So we're used to that already, and that's the TM way, and I said, okay.
I think though,
respect it.
because of STAR testing and us not wanting to be like a break right before STAR testing, the second semester will have to be a compromise if we're wanting to fit 2 intercessions in a row.
Yeah, there's gonna be one that's a 5 week.
And the conversation was because the calendars that were popular in the conversation were those two. And so it was the 9 and the 6 week discussion. So it was the back and forth of, okay, well, what's the difference if it's a 6 weeks and a 9? Because the calendar's identical with a difference of just, 6 to 9 weeks,
They're the
right?
same. They're the
So
same.
that was where that comment came in, but that if it was a 9 week, that there would be, we were talking about the 2 breaks, kind of like
Yeah,
in
they
the
can't
middle and at the
reconcile
end,
that.
and that was just, the comment that was made was, but that's just not, doesn't make any sense, because it was a break in the middle of like the 9 week break. So that person just had a hard time wrapping their brain around a break in the middle of a grading period. So that's where
Yeah.
that.
And I can't speak to it because I don't have any skin in the game. Like, this is my first year with the intercession. You could change it on me next year, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't know the difference.
It's my first year at a year-round school.
Yeah.
Good to see.
Me
I like
too, but-
So what do I need to write up here to capture what we need to think about or adjust, or do we just send it out changing this date?
I think it's important to have the clean breaks on that one.
The clean, yes, the clean, I heard a lot of it, the clean,
Yes,
they
it
enjoy the
was.
clean breaks.
But then this calendar wouldn't be the calendar to send forward, but we put this as a top 3.
Well, we just need to make that adjustment, whatever we were discussing right now, but they like the clean breaks, they like that one. They said, look at the criteria on the side that they put on there, what did the survey say? Survey says,
Yeah.
6-week grading period.
But then we go back to
But it's-
the stock show conversation too, and that's another big.
So then they started asking,
Yes.
what are the numbers in the stock show? What are we looking at? What percentage of TM is involved in the stock show? I said, I don't know, I don't have the answers.
Kelly, or what's her name? Jen just said she was a parent, she's a parent, and she didn't realize what the 9-week discussion was until she came here last time. And she was ready to not defend the 9 weeks, and after hearing the conversations and how it benefited our kids, she was willing to say, okay, I'm okay with 9 weeks. And I think that's the thing, I don't think people are educated or aware of what the 9 weeks are. I know that's what the survey said, but I don't think, like she said,
But at this point, that's what they want, so I think we need to
They're
do
also-
a better job of, we shouldn't have put it on the survey then.
Audience, they're also gonna get another chance to vote,
Okay.
cause they, right?
But is it
Yeah. We
because,
take
like,
these
people-
three-
because of tradition, like that's something that we should also think about, like, is it because of tradition, is that why we're wanting to vote for the calendar? Like, is that because that's our personal agenda, or are we voting on the calendar for what's best for the kids? That's just
No,
kind of
that's
something.
What
I
I'm
think it's a
hearing is
fine
that-
line, you gotta do both, you gotta do what's best for kids, but you also have to respect the community and what the community said, you know? Maybe we need to do a better job of, and I agree, educating everybody about 6 and 9 weeks, what are the pros, what are the cons? Maybe when we send this out again, we put something together that says, this is why we should do it this way, and this is why, better explain that to parents.
Now, this won't go to parents. Parents have had their input to formulate these. We chose, as a district staff, the top with consideration of what parents wanted. And then the district staff and employees will then vote on these three.
And then I wanted to request, I wanted to like kind of bring this up because when we send out the calendars, I've seen a pattern of like, everybody's so tied up, everybody's so busy.
When it goes
And
in.
the calendar gets sent out and everybody has kind of like a bias of, oh, I love the 6 week, like just the 6 week type calendar and that's what I'm voting for. I didn't really like check out how it's kind of designed or anything like that, but I want the 6 weeks because that's what I'm used to. Or I want the 9 week because that's like what I like, you know? I would like to see if like we could kind of present them, like not us per se, but like maybe like administrators kind of have a meeting with us and say like, this is the
When you say
pros on
meeting
this.
with us, what
Like
does that mean?
teachers.
Staff, like at a staff meeting.
Yeah, like
We do it during our site base.
Yeah.
Like we'll
We do it
at our
it.
site base meeting.
Yeah.
We discussed it.
And when we really, like, and then we tell our site base, go out and talk with
Right,
the.
represent to the teachers,
To the
right.
teachers.
Yeah.
So at
Your
one of our
department.
PLC meetings, it did come up. And one of the things that was asked, because they were asking, so what's the difference? And again, well, this is new to me, and that was my comment, because this was new to me, so it's nice for me to come in with a clear mind, because I've always done traditional. So they were just asking, I just brought up conversation at one of our meetings, and when I mentioned the 9 week, I got the, and I said, well, they go, why would somebody want 9 weeks? And I just basically repeated what we heard here. I said, well, it benefits high school, it benefits the dual enrollment, and I expressed some of the concerns that you brought up, and I personally had never thought about that.
See, and I
And when we see
I
how the
didn't know that.
kids are affected in that way, the students who are, and dual enrollment's not going away, that is something that's
It's getting bigger.
extremely
Right.
beneficial
Right.
to students. So that really opened my eyes, I still have a child in middle school. So we have, those of us that have children in middle school, we're gonna see that coming up, so is that gonna be beneficial to our children? And that was just something, I said, well, and they go, but what about intercessions? Because they were thinking the same thing. Intercessions, it's 2 weeks of intercessions after a 9-week period. And I said, oh, no, I said, the conversation is lending itself to, I think every 5 weeks or so. And they're like, oh. So that was kind of an eye-opener because it was something
Yeah,
that
it kind
had
of
not been
depends
thought
on
of.
if we're having the intercession to address fatigue or we're having the intercession to close out a grading period.
Right.
I mean,
That's a great way to put it.
student fatigue or teacher fatigue, or are we closing out a grading period? And I guess teachers, they're gonna have to decide. We're more worried about teacher and student fatigue, and so it doesn't really matter where it falls, we just need that break. Or we don't really care how tired we are, we want it right before the STAR test so that it refreshes kids, or, and so I think you're spot on with having the importance of a discussion
Exactly.
before these things go out, because I can tell you, I could advocate for any one of these. Any one of these are gonna benefit this group or this group or this group.
Right.
And we have to come to a consensus, which is why we wanted to do the changes that would make this the best calendar. So I think in the spirit of saving time, and TMPM closes at 6, we're gonna move on to this one with the caveat, and I wrote myself a note, that we will have further discussion about staff training when these roll out. Maybe it doesn't just go out as a thing, but maybe we redo this process in a staff development meeting, maybe on a shortened or condensed version. Instead of looking at all 9, they're only gonna look at the 3. And so that, they wouldn't be able to at that point suggest changes, but they would be able to understand the importance of 9 weeks or 6 weeks or 5-week intercessions or, you know, that kind of thing. I will tell you this, our second year with intercessions, and that 8 days back was wild last year. So that was crazy to me. It was crazy to my kids too. They were like, oh, we already have another break. So I'm just glad that none of these have that. So I am happy with any calendar we pick. Okay, so in the spirit of continuing what we're doing, and I will type this up so it doesn't look crazy with my handwriting. What were the pros? Why did this one get 43 votes?
I think they're the same. Wouldn't they be?
They're the same.
It's just a matter of one is 6 week and one is 9 week.
Yeah?
One
Oh,
is
so
six,
more?
one is
It's just the
9.
grading period.
Yep,
Okay.
they're the same.
I obviously haven't looked up.
Yeah, so we need to make the same changes in that one
Yes.
Yeah,
as we did in the.
okay, I'm just gonna say repeat.
No, but how does the break look on the 9 weeks? Because that's why I like that one, was where the intercessions fell without.
Relative to the
But
grading
in
period.
the grading period, are they closer to the end of the grading period?
Closing out the grading period.
They're not.
They're in the middle.
They're in the middle.
That would be if we did have those little intercession days for the kids like they used to. If you had a kid and you're stopping at like the 5th, 6th week of the grading period of a 9 weeks, and you see this kid's failing, they could be invited to those intercession days to catch them up before failing the whole
Correct.
9 weeks.
Right.
Which is why I'm primary and I've
It's
done
an
always 6
entirely different way of looking at it.
but I'm looking at it for our kids that are struggling, to have 9 weeks to take them from failing and trying to get them passing, instead of those 6 where sometimes you're trying to get those grades in the week before.
Yeah.
That means 5 weeks you're cramming in all the information so that you have time for map testing and all the data testing. You've got 9 weeks to do that. And then you could have a break in between and catch those ones before they're completely,
Or all hope
Too
is
far.
lost, yeah.
And the same exact thing can be said for band students, athletes.
Yeah.
Right.
And any
UIL.
UIL, attendance truancies, like all of that, the same can be repeated. Again, it goes back to what is the purpose or the desired purpose of the intercessions? Is it to address fatigue, or is it to close out,
But
or
it's
is it to
difficult-
remediate?
It's difficult on our end, getting teachers, at least at our level, getting teachers to work intercession. I don't know about you, Laura, but it is so hard.
I cannot
I'm like begging.
They won't work in our session. They won't.
I think at the high school they do.
Yeah, we do
They
too.
do on some campuses.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a few.
I think this is a good option to show the 9 weeks, keeping that year-round I think that's where a lot of people are concerned, that they
Yes.
don't want to move towards a traditional calendar.
Right.
They want year-round with intercessions.
Right.
And when it was
This still
talking
beats
about the 9 weeks, things like that, people start getting concerned about getting moved towards a traditional calendar. This at least keeps that reassurance that this is still gonna
Still
be
there.
year-round, you're still getting intercessions.
Well, I think it's the unfamiliarity too.
It is. That's what it comes down
That's something
to.
that, you know, it's not addressed, and if we go back to the conversation
That's
that
what
we
it
were
comes
having in
down
the
to.
office was, it's not tradition. It's not TM tradition, and it's not TM tradition, so it's kind of like, you know,
So it didn't change my mind until I heard Mahogany, right, that's her name? Whenever she said, you know, the college courses and we need these dates for these, and I think that if that was spoke about a little bit more, I think parents would be more understanding.
But then you have people that did take, like Miss Cortez, who in high school, she had the dual
Oh, yes.
enrollment, and she was like, hey, the school's closed, but I still knew I had to get my assignments done for those college courses. And she was like saying, you know, that's just the norm, that's what we were used to back in the valley, is what she said, she said it
I do
today.
that still,
I think
even in
it's-
this
yeah.
calendar.
I think
Yeah.
things post-COVID have really changed. I think we're still trying to pick up from that, and I think students are still trying to get comfortable and get into the norm, and I don't think we're there yet. And I think that encouraging students to be off when they're not off, I think that's gonna be a struggle in itself. So I think that that's something that's still gonna be posing challenges. So I do agree that, and this is just my perspective, that opening that up, it does lend itself more to encouraging them and motivating them to continue to go to school because their peers are there. There's still it's that social emotional part, if you wanna call it that. It's still that adjustment. How much longer we're gonna be there, I don't know, but I do think that that's still a factor. I think kids are still struggling to get back in there.
How would a 9-week affect MTSS?
You would just adjust your timeframes.
By
You
9
would,
weeks?
no, you would do
Like
3
by
weeks, 6 week,
Yeah.
9 week.
Okay, okay.
You would do it at the
Except we
progress
just added
report.
one
Yeah.
additional progress.
I have a question because I was asked and I did not have the answer. So sports, so we were talking about that and that did come up
We
in one of the
did. We talked
conversations too.
about
Eligibility for sports, since it's a 9-week period.
So football
what
and cheer.
happens if they don't, let's say football, and we talked about football
Football
season,
and
they'd be
cheer.
safe. But what about, let's say, basketball students?
It's
If they
actually-
did not
It's
pass.
actually football and cheer that are most affected, and volleyball.
Yeah.
Because the first 6 weeks of any UIL year, no matter if you're year-round, 9-week, 18-week, doesn't matter. The first 6 weeks of school is a grade check and it is an eligibility. After that first 6 weeks, they could regain at the 9 weeks, but they could also lose at the 9 weeks.
That's what they were
And
asking.
We
then,
talked about basketball in particular, how did that affect?
How does it affect like, so if a student fails the
Because that's
first
not
9 weeks, do they have to wait
no,
the next 9
they
weeks? How
still
does that-
have,
That was a
they
question I
still
didn't-
have the 3-week gains.
Okay.
But the benefit of it is the 6-week gain now cannot make them ineligible. It can only help them. So they only have one opportunity to lose eligibility instead of 3. They have the eligibility, well, they have 2 instead of 3. Because they have the very first initial one in the beginning of the year. They can gain, they can lose at 9 weeks, and then they can't lose again until 9 weeks. But they can gain at 9 weeks, they can gain at 3, they can gain at 6, they can gain at 9.
That's the added benefit, right?
Yeah, I didn't have the
And
answer
the
to that
same
question.
thing happens in the spring.
And then in regard to like dual credit students, they can gain eligibility back just by requesting an updated grade from their instructor and sending it to the principal.
And see, those are the things that I feel, like, I came from an elementary, so those are things that didn't affect me as a teacher or my students. So those are things that I feel that teachers need to know. I feel
So
that
I'll give you an
it's
example. I helped with volleyball this season. We had a girl in a dual credit class. She was passing our courses with a 90, a dual credit course with a 90. Because the colleges don't have a 6-week grade check, we had to request a grade from them. That requested grade was done the Thursday before grading period, and that requested grade was a 67. She failed and did not get to go to a playoff game. So that will continue happening unless we do the 9-week, where we are not asking a college professor who's also dealing with 20-year-old kids to create an arbitrary grade for us.
But I think that's deceiving anyways. As a parent, my daughter, she took college algebra, right? So the report card reflects 90. And we were like, okay, 90 plus, 95, 96, we're great. She's like, Mom, no. It's whatever whatever I have at the university. It's not what's reflected on the report
But that's
card.
where we have to do, like, our counseling
Yes,
staff,
yes.
our
Yes, have
our
to do.
facilitators,
Yes.
they have to train kids to check their college access centers.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
learned
But-
that lesson real quick, yeah.
And then too, colleges are only giving us letter grades. So if you look at secondary grading guidelines, if it's this grade, if it's this letter, then it's this. If it's this letter, then it's this. A D is not passing. You know, a college can tell you a D is passing, but a D is not gonna pass on that
D
report
is
card.
not passing in high school,
Right.
Correct.
but in college, it is.
Correct. But
As a
whenever,
college professor, I know how that works.
but we
But for
only get,
UIL eligibility,
correct,
college professors are like, I don't care.
yes.
And I will
So,
say, and
that's
Mahogany can attest
that
this,
has-
most of the
comes on
college
us.
professors we work with,
Are
a
very
lot of them are our own adjunct professors, so they get it. But some of them are not, like our welding teachers that are at CBC or where,
We have welding teachers on site.
yeah, so I mean, it's.
You get those rare professors that say,
Yes.
or that
Most are gonna help us.
they add up by points. So instead of giving you a grade and you're doing,
Total
you're
number
getting
of
A's, but you haven't hit 500 points yet, so to them, you're failing because you haven't hit 500 points.
But they also, again, that's their college professor, that's their right. So we have to do a better job of advocating for our students. And we have to do a better job of getting our students to advocate for themselves, especially with those colleges, and bridge those communication gaps.
And we've talked a lot.
Bridge those communication gaps.
We've talked a lot about how to find like I have my voicemail transferred to my email, having the college emails transferred to the student emails here. So we've talked about that. Mahogany's already talked to IT. So some of those things are gonna iron themselves out as the program grows. But going back to a calendar discussion, are we comfortable with the suggested changes here? So if this committee is good with it, this staff, the CNI department will make these changes, and then we will come up with a plan to educate teachers before they vote. That may fall back on you all as a committee to do, or the administrative staff. It would probably be best if it came from a third party, no skin in the game. Cause I'm gonna work anyway. I work 222.
We're always here, so
When you make these changes, send it back
Yes.
to all of us
Yes.
before it goes anywhere else?
this
Yes.
isn't going anywhere to anybody anytime soon. We're still
Yeah.
in
Oh, I
the,
thought it was going somewhere tomorrow.
No,
it's going to the DIC as another committee review of what we've done in this committee, but the work has been done here. They're almost like another check to the work that we've done, so that there's another set of eyes on something, to where if we couldn't catch something, there's gonna be another opportunity for another group to review and see if there is something that we need our attention on, like, hey,
like
why am I
missing
counting
the
on,
here or
why
there
am I missing
days.
a day, or why is this not, blah, blah, blah.
So the DSE committee will get the 4 calendars
They're gonna get
we're
these
talking about, or 3 calendars we're
We're
talking
gonna get
about
these
We're gonna
three.
get the top.
tomorrow, but then we'll also get the 3 calendars.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So
then these
just
3
re-review.
calendars are the ones after the changes go for the votes, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I was hoping
Wait, say that
only,
again, cause I said yes and I don't think I was actually listening. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Is it gonna
I
be
think I was listening.
gonna be voted on?
Yes, I was listening. Sorry. I had to like rethink. I have like severe ADD, sorry.
So, and maybe I missed this, if we move that date,
This on the
all it does
17th?
is, it changes, it rotates, I mean, the days don't shift, we have one short grading period.
Yeah,
So one grading period is gonna be 5 weeks rather than 6,
it's
whatever.
gonna be that way
Matter
either
if we
way.
change it or not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's
Okay.
gonna be that way either way.
Okay, so I was just wondering if that
There's always
changes
one grading
arbitrary.
period.
Like, would that change anybody's vote to any of these other calendars? And I would venture to say, no, these 3 were like, well, with the exception of that one, but. Okay, well, thank you guys for being here. If you have any other questions, you'll have to send them an email, because my kids will be on the sidewalk. Thank you.